As the sun dips below the horizon, the golden sands of Sinai reveal a narrow strip of water that dictates the rhythm of our modern world. This 193-kilometer line controls 12% of global trade, a vital artery where every hour represents millions of dollars. If this passage were to close right now, the price of oil and gas across the entire planet would skyrocket in less than 48 hours. 50 ships pass through here every day, carrying goods worth $9 billion, weaving through a landscape that seems entirely devoid of any other life. A single modern container ship can be longer than 4 Empire State Buildings laid end to end, a floating titan conquering the harsh desert heat. This is the circulatory system of the global economy, operating 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, without rest. The Suez Canal is not just a feat of engineering. It is the heartbeat and the lifeblood of how we live, eat, and power our homes. 12% of everything we buy travels through a channel only 313 meters wide, a fragile bottleneck for our entire civilization. The story of this canal is the story of how a narrow strip of water has changed the balance of global power 3 times in history. In the heart of the desert, this pulse never stops. To understand our world today, we must look back at the blood and ambition that built it. In 1859, Ferdinand de Lesseps began a project that many thought impossible, a dream to connect the Mediterranean to the vast Red Sea. De Lesseps was a diplomat, not an engineer, yet he convinced the world that he could carve a path through the unforgiving sands of Egypt. But the cost of this ambition was not measured in gold alone. It was paid for with the lives of over 1 million forced laborers. For 10 years, Egyptian workers toiled in the heat. It is estimated that 120,000 people died from disease and exhaustion. That is an average of 12,000 deaths every year. Every single meter of this canal was literally bought with a human life. When the canal finally opened in 1869, it immediately shattered the old world order, making distances between East and West vanish overnight. Great Britain became the primary benefactor. The journey to India, their most precious colony, was cut from 24,000 kilometers to 15,000. Suez became the lifeline of the British Empire, a strategic jewel that the Western powers would fight to keep under their control for decades. To join distant horizons, humanity traded sweat and blood. This 193-kilometer cut changed the flow of history forever. For nearly 90 years, the British and French owned this water. But in 1956, one man decided the canal belonged to Egypt. July 26, 1956. President Gamal Abdel Nasser stood before a microphone and spoke the words that would ignite a global crisis. Using the name Ferdinand de Lesseps as a secret code, he signaled his forces to seize the canal offices across the country immediately. Within 3 hours, Egypt had nationalized the canal. In London and Paris, the stock market crashed as the old powers lost their grip. The response was swift and violent. Britain, France, and Israel launched a secret tripartite invasion to take back the canal by force. The world teetered on the edge of a third world war. But then, an unexpected intervention came from the West's own leader, the United States. President Eisenhower threatened to collapse the British pound if they did not withdraw. He realized the era of European empires was over. The invaders withdrew in humiliation. This was the moment the world realized that the old colonial order had finally and completely collapsed. Egypt had won back its most valuable asset. Suez was no longer a colonial outpost. It was the symbol of a new, independent nation. The canal became the place where the post-war world order was established, proving that geography could be more powerful than any traditional army. 1956 was the year the map of power was redrawn, and today, Suez remains the most critical node in that global map. Now, let us look at the present, where the canal has evolved into the world's most sophisticated and precise economic machine. Every day, these floating cities carry the dreams and needs of billions. They are loaded with goods from every corner of the planet. Phones from Vietnam, textiles from Bangladesh, electronics from Japan, and oil from the Middle East all converge in this single narrow passage. A single ship can carry cargo for 50 different countries, destined for 30 more. It is the ultimate expression of our interconnected lives. The crew comes from the Philippines, India, and Ukraine. Workers who connect people they will never meet through the goods they carry. If Suez closed for just 1 month, global food prices would rise instantly. Not from scarcity, but from the sheer cost of shipping. The canal is a bottleneck where if the flow is constricted, the entire world begins to hold its breath in economic fear. 8% of the world's liquefied natural gas passes through here, heating homes thousands of miles away in the cold European winters. From energy to food, Suez is the knot that keeps the global fabric together. But this system depends on incredible human precision. Each of these ships, weighing 200,000 tons, must navigate a passage only slightly wider than the ship itself. This is a dance of millimeters. Set one small mistake here can trigger an economic earthquake that resonates across every continent on Earth. Imagine steering a vessel longer than the Eiffel Tower is tall, through a corridor where the sand is almost touching the sides. A ship this size doesn't stop easily. It requires kilometers to brake, meaning every decision must be made with perfect foresight and calm. Every vessel that enters the canal must take an Egyptian pilot on board, a specialized expert who takes over the navigation entirely. These 800 pilots are the elite guardians of the canal, holding billions of dollars of cargo in their steady hands every day. They know every hidden current, every gust of wind, and every underwater hazard that no digital map could ever fully capture. Trust is the currency of the canal. For 12 hours, the ship's safety rests on a local expert who knows these waters like his home. But even with all the skill in the world, the unpredictable power of nature can still bring this entire system to its knees. In March 2021, a sudden gust of wind and a moment of bad luck proved just how fragile our global system is. The world watched in disbelief as a 400-meter giant became wedged across the canal, blocking the artery of global trade. For 6 days, the world stopped spinning. One ship, stuck in the sand, held the global economy hostage in a way no army could. The images were surreal. Tiny machines worked day and night to free a metal mountain, while the world's supply chains began to crumble. 369 ships were trapped in a queue, waiting for a path that remained stubbornly closed by the sand. Every hour the ship remained stuck cost the global economy hundreds of millions. The total damage reached $54 billion. It was a wake-up call. The world realized that its prosperity depended on a single narrow ditch in the middle of the desert. The Ever Given was a lesson in fragility. Globalization is only as strong as its narrowest bottleneck, and Suez is the narrowest of all. Finally, with the help of a full moon and heroic salvage teams, the giant was pulled free, and the world breathed a sigh of relief. The blockage was over, but the psychological impact remained. We saw how easily our complex modern lives could be completely disrupted. But Suez did not just recover, it evolved. The authorities immediately began further expansions to ensure such a disaster never happens again. In 2015, Egypt had already opened a new parallel channel, doubling the capacity and cutting transit time from 18 to 11 hours. The canal that once handled 5,000-ton ships now welcomes vessels of 240,000 tons with ease. New challenges are appearing on the horizon. Climate change is altering sea levels, and new geopolitical tensions are testing the canal's security. As the Arctic ice melts, new routes are opening in the north. But for now, Suez remains the most efficient and reliable path for trade. The Suez of the 21st century is as much a digital network as a physical one, using AI to manage the world's traffic. Every ship is tracked, every movement predicted. The canal has become a smart node in a global logistics web that never sleeps. It has survived 4 wars, a global crisis that redrew the map, and a blockage that captured the world's attention. It always returns. The canal is more than a trench. It is a symbol of human persistence and our endless desire to connect with one another. As night falls, the ships continue their silent journey. This is the heartbeat of the world, visible even from the depths of space. We rarely think about where our goods come from or the path they took to reach us. But Suez is the reason they arrive. Yet it is a mirror of our greatness and our fragility, a place where history, politics, and economy collide in every single wave. The story of Suez is the story of us. It is the story of how we carved our will into the earth to unite the world. Without this passage, our lives would be slower, more expensive, and far less connected. It is the invisible force behind our modern existence. The desert may be harsh, but the water is eternal. As long as we trade, as long as we dream, Suez will remain our lifeline. Suez teaches us that a single gust of wind can stop the world, but human ambition will always find a way to keep it moving. From the sands of Sinai to the shores of every continent, the canal remains the pulse that keeps our global heart beating forever.